Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast, to another live match preview. We are back, people. Premier League football is back, and what a game we have for us today. Manchester City, the reigning champions, in arguably the worst form of Pep's entire career, but definitely his worst form since he joined City. Another defeat for them in midweek against PSG. Chelsea have it all to do today, going up against one of the biggest and best squads in the world. So let's get into it without further ado. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. The socials are down below. Make sure you're following Two Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. But as you can see in the top left-hand corner, I have done a little predicted 11 versus Man City. The predicted lineup is bang on. Lineups have just been released, and I have gone, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've gone 11 for 11. So I might as well just read you off my predicted 11, because that is exactly the 11 that will face Manchester City. In goal, Robert Sanchez. Enzo Maresca has been very vocal about Robert Sanchez this week, and his position in this Chelsea squad still very much our number one. Not necessarily for the future, but for this season, still very much our number one. And then a back four of Reece James at right back. How good is it to see El Capitan with back-to-back starts in this Chelsea side? Marc Cucurella, the mainstay at left back. I'd argue the most consistent left back in the Premier League this season, maybe barring Anthony Robertson, but Cucurella has really grown on me. Performances shining through week in, week out, and he starts on the left side of a centre-back pairing of Trevor Chalobah and Levi Colwill. Born and bred in Cobham, born and bred in Chelsea. That is the centre-back pairing I wanted to see today. That is the centre-back pairing we are getting. Fingers crossed it is nice and seamless. Colwill on the left side, Chalobah on the right. Obviously last week Chalobah played on his first game back on the left side with Tosin on the right. Looked extremely comfortable there. But he is right-footed. He is a natural right-sided centre-back. Hopefully today, that centre-back pairing will be the centre-back pairing we see for the rest of the season. People saying that Fofana could be back quicker than anticipated. Just done a quick double check. He's not on the bench, so he's not part of the team as of yet. However, this centre-back pairing of Colwill and Chalobah, I think, could do us very nicely till the end of the season. Enzo Fernandez also returning, as well as Levi Colwill sitting in alongside Moises Caicedo. If Enzo Fernandez wasn't going to be fit today, because we knew Romeo Lavia wasn't going to be fit, if Enzo wasn't going to be fit, it was going to be a sticky one still. Having Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall start against Manchester City would have been a nightmare. Not for me. Glad that we've got that midfield pairing back of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. I think Caicedo has been very, very overworked in recent weeks, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays today. Hopefully none of that fatigue showing, because he's going to have a lot to do, particularly with the inclusion from the beginning of Omar Marmoush, which we'll get onto in a bit, but I think it stinks of an Omar Marmoush goal today. And then the front four, exactly as I predicted. Well, I don't know why I keep saying it. The whole team is exactly as I predicted it. But Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, the base. Obviously, the number 10 is Cole Palmer. On the left, Jadon Sancho. On the right, Madueke, keeping Pedro Neto out of the first 11 with that goal, I do think, against Wolves. Look, Madueke, top talent. A lot of the Chelsea fan base, he splits a lot of them. A lot of the Chelsea fans don't like Madueke, but I think today this is the game for him. While I think Pedro Neto, another excellent option, direct, quick. I think we're going to really hurt, our chance to really hurt Manchester City today is going to be in transition, is going to be in fast counter-attacking, fast attacking phases, when we can get the ball up to Madueke, Neto, Sancho, Palmer, Jackson. Play on that high line, play on that inexperience at the back. Obviously, they've had to start 2 out of 3 of their signings in Marmoush and Kushunov at the back. And Kushunov looks like a great player from all the comps, from everything I've seen, all the PR around him. Sounds like he's a fantastic young talent, but surely that has got to be the area we are targeting today. Obviously, Kyle Walker just left, so they've got they've got Nunes at right back and Kushunov in the right side of centre back. That, for me, is the area that we've just got to bombard. I mean, Akanji, left centre-back, and Guardiola, left-back. It's not the best back four I've ever seen. A lot of talent in there, a lot of good players. I don't want to doubt the individuals. I don't want to sit here and definitely not knock players that aren't ours, but, there's a chance in there today. I think the Chelsea front four will smell blood. They will get an opportunity. I think Jackson has to get in the goals today. He normally does 90% of his game right, and the 10% is more often than not the finishing. Today, needs to be bagging, needs to be leading the line by example. While I have no doubt he will be crucial to a lot of our build-up play, a lot of our attacking phases, he needs to put the ball in the back of the net today. That's what we need from our number 9. 1 week left in January. If he doesn't score again today, this drought is going to turn into a Chelsea need a number 9. If we're not going to use Nkunku in the number 9 position, I don't think he is an out-and-out 9. But look, if we're not going to use Nkunku and Jackson ain't scoring, there are going to be big conversations in the last week of this window on whether Chelsea need a 9. But Jackson is the one to lead the line today. Obviously, no Felix on the bench. He has left the club to go home for bereavement. I think a death in the family. So all of our thoughts, of course, with João Felix. Football does not come before family. So all our prayers and thoughts with him. But the Chelsea bench, Philip Jorgensen, Axel Disasi, Josh Achimpong, Malo Gusto, Tosin Adarabioyo, Dewsbury Hall, Nkunku, Gu and Neto. So pretty heavily defensive focused or heavily defence based for that Chelsea bench today. Nkunku, he's the one that's going to be brought on to make a difference if we aren't winning today, if we are losing. So if Nkunku doesn't get on today, he's as good as gone in this last week of January. I said last week, if I'm Nkunku and I can't get off the bench against Wolves, I'm fuming. Again, if I'm an Nkunku, I'm the only attacking sub, bar Neto, if I'm the only real kind of central attacker on the bench today and I can't get on the pitch against Man City even for a cameo, yeah, I'd be thinking about my future at the club too. But focusing on the 11s that are starting, we'll run through the Manchester City 11 very quickly. Obviously, I mentioned that Kushinov and Marmoush both playing. But Ederson in goal, Nunes at right back, Kushinov and Akanji in centre back, Guardiola left back, Kovacic, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Marmoush in the number 10 and Haaland up top. Is this a bad time to be playing Manchester City? I would argue yes. I would argue there is no good time to play Manchester City because at the end of the day, they're a top club. No matter what you think, no matter what your agenda is, Manchester City are always going to be able to perform in the deepest, darkest moments. But particularly having gone off and battered Ipswich last weekend, I was thinking typical that we play them first game of the season before they're dropping form, and then we play them just as they're coming out of their slump, just as they're getting their confidence back, bagging 6, clean sheet, few new signings to boot as well. It's got to be fairly positive in that City camp, and particularly with the Champions League situation that they find themselves in. Look, PSG Man City was a game that could have gone either way. Both clubs are in dire straits in Europe at the moment. Both clubs are going to struggle to get to those final knockout stages, but you would expect them to pull through. They do have the quality, do have the mettle. But look, they're very close to being eliminated. And I'd argue that Pep Guardiola, having won the Champions League last year, having won the treble last year, would be focused on that Premier League. You've got to buckle down and think about what is the priority, the most important. And to sit there and say, we're going to pack the league in, let Liverpool have it, that's not Man City's way. That never has been Man City's way, not in the last 10, 15 years. They will fight until the end. They will be going until game week 38. And I guarantee you the title race will be closer than it is now. Will be closer than it has been throughout the whole of the season. Manchester City will close that gap. They will make up the points on Liverpool. And Liverpool will also drop points in the second half of the season. More so than they did in the first half, I feel. Because every team in the Premier League has gone through a little run of form where they've dropped points, haven't been fantastic. Liverpool are the only team not to do that. And I would be incredibly surprised if they went 38 games without a little dip in form, without dropping points to a team that they should have beaten. Chelsea, the only team that have dominated Liverpool this season, as Arne Slot says in every single press conference. Fingers crossed we can do it again when we play them second time and take some more points off them this time. But, I mean, this title race, Man City, it's not a team that you want to sit there and say, when's the best time to play? Never. there's never a good time. And I'd argue now is even worse to play Man City. Because Pep Guardiola is going up against his disciple in Enzo Maresca, or one of his disciples in Enzo Maresca. He's going up against Cole Palmer, the boy who lived, the boy who they let go, made a huge mistake, and is now outperforming players like Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, 20-fold. Wait, hang on a minute, there was no KDB in the lineup. I've just realised that. Was that because he shouted at him in midweek? Is he on the bench? He's on the bench. And so is Rice, 3 out of 3. Jesus Christ. Savinho, Grealish, Lewis, De Bruyne. So De Bruyne's on the bench. Look, it's still a solid City side. You can sit here and say, they haven't got Diaz, Stones, Walker's gone, no Rodri. I mean, Gundogan, Kovacic, both Champions League winning centre midfielders. Both very, very good quality midfielders on their day. Bernardo Silva, unbelievable quality footballer. Foden, one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League, if not the world, on his day. Granted, this season, he may have not had too many of his days, similar to Erling Haaland, similar to a lot of the players in that City side. But you know what? They've still got the quality when it matters. They've still got the quality when it counts. And I know that they have more often than not gone up against it, gone up against the big teams, gone toe-to-toe against the big teams in the bigger games. But I think, losing to PSG is going to give them that extra little bit of incentive to get back on top. Every time they look like they've come out the slump, every time they look like there is light at the end of the tunnel, somebody drops a boulder on the end of the cave, the light gets blocked, City have to go back and start digging again. And I feel like today is going to be one of those performances. It's going to be one of those gritty, it's not going to be the normal Pep style that we're used to. It's not going to be free-flowing football. There are a couple of new signings in there. And while I've been bigging up Marmoush and saying that he's probably going to score today, it's going to be interesting to see how they come into this City, immediately 3-4 changes. The fact that he started Marmoush over De Bruyne, I mean, it shows that he's ready, but it also shows that it's a massive show of faith from Pep Guardiola. And look, Jackson has got to give Kushner a torrid time today. He's just got to stay on him. And Kushner, these players will also have an extra incentive, an extra layer of security in their head, thinking, you know what, we have to go out there and perform today because this is the first time that we're on Sky Sports prime time in front of the English crowds. This is the first time City fans are going to see us in the flesh. A lot of people will never have, even though they would have heard of him, will never have seen Omar Marmoush or Kushner play. Less Kushner, 100%. But these players will be going out there today with a point to prove. And that is why Chelsea have to embrace it. Chelsea have to embrace the occasion, embrace the magnitude of the game, and go in there as underdogs. We play best when we serve that underdog mentality. We play best when we go out there with nothing or very little to lose. And yes, if we lose today, if City beat us, they leapfrog us and go top 4. It's not the end of the world if we lose today to champions Man City at the Etihad. But you know what? It's a winnable game. I want goals. I want fluidity. I want us to just get our balls in the wheelbarrow. Here you are, son. They're fucking massive. Balls to the wall. Let's just fucking try. We've got so much talent, speed, ability up there. Jackson, Palmer, Sancho, Madueke. Those 4 could have an absolute field day today. They could score 6 between them. We've seen this City side capitulate. We scored 4 against them last season, and I'm pretty sure the year before as well. We tend to go toe-to-toe with Man City on the big occasion. Last time we played them in a major final, we beat them in the Champions League. This is a Chelsea team that then, if you look at the teams on paper, we were massively understaffed. We were massive underdogs in that game. On paper, shouldn't have won, but it's the mentality. And I think, look, having Reece James back is so important. You saw him when he handed the armband to Moises Caicedo when he came off the other week. The mentality to pass that mantle on and say, heads, keep your heads. We are not losing this game. And Reece James is such a mentality monster. I mean, the fact that he can just come back into this team after weeks, months, without a single minute of game time, he can come back, slot back into this team seamlessly and look unbelievable. Look like he hasn't missed a second of Premier League football. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. He is undoubtedly the best right back in the world when he's fit and playing. And we need a big performance from him today. Up on that left side, Phil Foden, whether it will be Foden on the left or on the right, Bernardo Silva switching over, who knows. I'm kind of glad it's not Savinho, because I do think he would have had, the afterburners on Reece James, even though Reece James, I think, has more than enough defensive capabilities, speed, ability, pace, whatever, to deal with him. I think Foden presents a little bit more of it's definitely a different challenge for him, but it's a more familiar challenge in that, someone that he's familiar with through the England setup. He's played against him in the past, Man City versus Chelsea. He knows more about Foden, going up against an unknown like Savinho. I would have been a little bit more worried today, but I think that fullback pairing, and guys, let me know in the comments if anybody disagrees. Is there a better fullback pairing in the Premier League than Reece James and Cucurella right now on their day? Let's have a quick check as well, by the way, of the scores, because there were some. Please tell me Arsenal are still 0-0. Oh my God, Wolves have had a player sent off. Last I checked, it was half time. Miles Lewis Skelly had been sent off. They're now 10 men apiece, as João Gomez has been sent off for Wolves. Let's see what he got sent off for. Newcastle 3-1 up after going 1-0 down. Liverpool 4-0. Jesus Christ. Oh, they are flying, aren't they, Liverpool? Can do no wrong. Everton, oh my goodness. Bournemouth battering Forest 3-0. That's a big result for Bournemouth. Bournemouth on the same number of... I know they've played a game more than us, but presuming they win today, they're on the same number of points as us. But look, that a Forest loss is good for us. And Arsenal, if they drop points, that's good for us as well. Because a win today takes us 1 point behind Forest, 2 behind Arsenal. It's just Liverpool that keep extending that lead. Oh, Cody Gakpo added the second. Not bad. I'm pretty sure I got Gakpo in the team, so we'll accept that. Even though I captained Salah over Isak, who's bagged 2. We'll accept that. That's all right. But yeah, man, I'm a little bit more positive than I think a fair amount of Chelsea fans. I think a lot of, particularly football Twitter, because that's kind of where I'm basing my opinion off here. All I've seen is negativity. I've only seen really kind of 1 or 2 predictions that we're going to win. So look, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 3-2 Chelsea. I think it's going to be close. There's going to be goals in it. I think we're going to edge it. I think, again, both teams to score. If you're a betting man, that's your safe bet today. Both teams to score. I do feel like that's the banker. That's the one that's never going to lose. We'll have to ask C-Money his thoughts on that because he is obviously the betting expert. But if I had to put my money on something, it would be, Cole Palmer to score or assist and both teams to score. That can't be that tasty, but, I've seen worse options out there. But I'm going for a slender Chelsea win today. Through the Instagram, the Twitter, not seeing many other Chelsea fans being too positive. You never know. With some of these Chelsea individuals, Sanchez, Maresca, you never really know what sort of performance you're going to get. And Sanchez could give a 10 out of 10 performance for 85 minutes of the game, but he makes one mistake in front of Erling Haaland, one hospital ball with Phil Foden sniffing up the back of Trevor Chalobah or Levi Cole. I don't trust Sanchez. I think we're definitely going to concede today. There's no way he keeps a clean sheet against one of the most prolific teams in the world. But I'm staying with it. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to say Chelsea win today. I think we edge it. And I don't want to, I don't want to curse it because normally when I say we lose, normally I'm a pessimistic bastard and I say we're going to get battered 2-3-0 and then we go out and win. But I just kind of firm it and say as long as I keep saying that we're going to lose, we'll lose. But I can feel it in my bones today. I've got a gut feeling. Chelsea, I reckon we can come out on top. It's not going to be the prettiest game, but look, we just got to play to our strengths. Speed, fluidity, those attacking transitions, getting Madueke, Sancho on the ball, driving at those fullbacks. Matheus Nunes at right back, up against Jadon Sancho. Look, that's the one. That's the matchup. That is the personal battle I'm going to be watching incredibly closely today. So, who do we think is going to win out of Matheus Nunes and Jadon Sancho? Pedro Neto as well. Look, that's one that I want him to come off the bench with half an hour to go and just use his pace, get in behind, stick some balls into the box for Jackson. I think we'll go back to one of the first things we said on this stream. He needs to score today. Nicholas Jackson needs a goal. Big time. But yeah, man, get your score predictions into the comments. Little less than an hour until the game, so we've got a nice little bit of time. If anybody is watching this in post, let me know what you think in the comments of the team. Get your predictions in as well. And of course, guys, don't watch that. Every time, as soon as the final whistle goes, we'll be here on this channel doing a live match reaction. So as soon as the final whistle goes today, Man City versus Chelsea, I will be doing a live match reaction. As always, make sure to subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notification as well. Get your notifications on. Just turn the notifications on the chat, and then whenever I go live, you'll get a little ping for your phone. You can ignore it if you want, or you can come talk shit to me. Either way, I want to hear your thoughts. Get your predictions for the game, your thoughts on today's lineup. Is this the back four that's going to see out the rest of the season for Chelsea, or the back five with Sanchez being our number one? But this back four, let's keep it exactly the same for the rest of the season, please. Get your comments in, get your likes in, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Socials are down below at 2Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. Big up everybody, appreciate everybody that's joined us. See you at the final whistle. Come on, Chelsea!